Unquestionable taste in music. Let's examine the lyric content. This is where the clues As part of the collective, connective community where communication is as easy as thought, it's almost impossible for us to imagine that our ancestors may once have lived separate and disconnected lives. But recent sensational discoveries by remote archaeological operatives strongly suggest that our ancestors did indeed exist in a completely unconnected society. And there's more. Remarkably, there is compelling evidence to challenge all our most treasured ideas about cars, those most mysterious denizens of the later Tarmac Age.
McKendrick's pioneering analysis of patterns of tarmac distribution, proving their similarity to tracks left by other terrestrial creatures, is simply the most recent insight, the latest piece of the puzzle in the familiar picture. What does this picture show us? There are some minor details we may never satisfactorily resolve, but the overall image of the car, automobilis independens, as the only form of wheeled creature ever discovered, is so clear as to be beyond dispute. We can trace the development of this fascinating creature from humble beginnings in the mid to late industrial age. There's some dispute as to what these primitive early forms should be called, but it is now widely accepted that they were, to some degree, dependent on a symbiosis with humans, a relationship which eventually went horribly wrong, as we shall see. The most obvious leap forward for the species was the development of the capability for independent movement, and this led to a radical shift in the balance of power in the relationship between humans and cars. Documentary evidence is in short supply, but these fragments of both text and image are often interpreted either as religious texts produced by the cars themselves, or more tellingly, as a primitive form of magic or charm employed by an increasingly desperate human population. By the end of the late Tarmac Age, it's clear that the cars have evolved into powerful creatures, actively preying on humankind, as this famous reconstructed media clip illustrates.
It's become such a familiar image. Voracious car as predator, unfortunate man the luckless prey. But is that really what we're seeing here? What else could be going on? It's perhaps too early to be completely confident, but there is one vital clue that points to a very different interpretation. Unlocking the secrets encoded on this fragile strip of primitive media, the only one of its type so far recovered from an automobilis site, presented some major challenges for the team. But once it was realised that the ancients had used a simple magnetic system, now corrected for shifts in Terra's magnetic field, of course, it was possible to build a device to unencode the media. And then, what a shock to the first human ears to hear this content in 1,000 years. Leaving aside any comments about our ancestors' lamentable taste in music, let's examine the lyric content more closely. This is where the clues begin to emerge. It's a bit old, but it's mine. I mend it in my spare time. And I like driving in my car. All of this is suggestive, but not conclusive. After all, the intention could be humorous or ironic. There was another important discovery, however, that of a human remains on the site, which, on first sight, might even seem to reinforce the old theories.
So many automobilist sites have associated human remains, often within the body of the car itself, that the shift to cars as predators and humans as prey, food, seems beyond dispute.
The soil was scanned and an excess analysis performed, and this overlay shows the most likely position of the human remains within the car. Exactly what might be expected according to conventional ideas, but then the team looked closer and found something stunning. This apparently simple piece of metal holds the key to this puzzle in more ways than one. As a mechanical device on its own, it may seem insignificant, although its discovery inside a living creature is unusual, to say the least. But it's the implications that are so interesting. A moment's thought will show that the presence of a security device, however crude, clearly implies ownership. That the thing to which the device is applied is owned, controlled, by whoever holds the key. That key that was found so near to the hand of the human. Clearly, it's time to re-examine our ideas then. To accept the possibility that this is not an image of free-roaming creatures, but the purposeful movement patterns of things owned and controlled by us, or by our ancestors. This could still mean a type of symbiosis, of course, but wouldn't it make more sense to examine the possibility that these things were exactly that? Things. Manufactured devices. Not autonomous creatures. Devices made and controlled by our ancestors. True, it's a bold speculation, but it would explain a lot. Although, frustratingly, we are still no nearer to answering the biggest question of all. What happened to them? Creature or constructed device? What was it that finally caused their extinction?